Good evening, my peeps. Good evening, subscribers. Good evening, my fans. Welcome to trarp TV, Rocket Pocket, the recovering addict at your control. The subject that I'm about to discuss is more philosophical. That is, whether devout reason is sovereign over the emotions. So it is right for me to advise you to pay earnest attention to philosophy. For the subject is essential to everyone who is seeking knowledge. And in addition, it includes the praise of the highest virtue. I mean, of course, rational judgment. If then, it is evidence that reason rules over those emotions that hinder self-control, namely gluttony and lust, it is also clear that it masters the emotion that hinder one from justice, such as malice, and those that stand in the way of courage, namely anger, fear, and pain. Some might perhaps ask if reason rules the emotions, why is it not sovereign over forgetfulness and ignorance? Their attempt at argument is ridiculous, for reason does not rule its own emotion, but those that are opposed to justice, courage, and self-control, and it is not for the purpose of destroying them, but so that one may not give way to them. I could prove to you from many and various examples that reason is dominant over the emotions, but I can demonstrate it best from the noble bravery of those who died for the sake of virtue. All of these, by despising sufferings that brings death, demonstrate that reason controls the emotion. It is fitting for me to praise for their virtues those who, with their mother, died for the sake of nobility and goodness, but I will also call them blessed for the honor in which they have held. All people, even their torturers, marvel at courage and endurance, and they became the cause of downfall, of tyranny over their nation. By the endurance they conquered the tyrant, and thus their native land was purified through them. I shall shortly have an opportunity to speak of this, but as my custom is, I shall begin by stating my main principle, and then I shall turn to their story, giving glory to the all-wise God. Our inquiry accordingly is whether reason is sovereign over the emotions. We shall decide just what reason is and what emotion is, how many kinds of emotion there are, and whether reason rules over these. No, reason is the mind that, with sound logic, prefers the life of wisdom. Wisdom, next, is the knowledge of divine and human matters and the cause of these. This, in turn, is education in the law, by which we learn divine matters reverently and human affairs to our advantage. Now, the kinds of wisdom are rational judgment, justice, courage, and self-control. Rational judgment is supreme over all of these, since by means of reason rules over the emotions. The two most comprehensive types of emotions are pleasure and pain, and each of these is by nature concerned with both body and soul. The emotions of both pleasure and pain have many consequences. Thus, desire precedes pleasure, and delight follows it. Fear precedes pain, and courage comes after. anger as a person will see by the reflection of this experience is an emotion embracing pleasure and pain. In pleasure there exists even a malevolent tendency which is the most complex of all emotion. In the soul it is the boastfulness, covetousness, thirst for honor, rivalry and malice. In the body, indiscriminate eating, gluttony and solitary gorbanizing. Just as pleasure and pain are two plants growing from the body and the soul, so there are many offshoots of these plants, each of which master the cultivator reason, weeds and prunes, and ties up and waters and thoroughly irrigates, and so tames the jungle of habits and emotion. For reason is the guide of the virtues, but over the emotion it is sovereign. Observe now, first of all, that rational judgment is sovereign over the emotion by virtue of the restraining power of self-control. Self-control then is dominance over the desires. Some desires are mental, others are physical, and reason obviously rules over both. Otherwise, how is it that when we are attracted to forbidden foods, we abstain from the pleasure to be had from them? Is it not because reason is able to rule over appetites? I, for one, think so. Therefore, when we crave seafood and fowl and animals and all sorts of food that are forbidden to us by the law, we abstain because domination by reason. For the emotions of the appetites are restrained, checked by the temperate mind, and all the impulses of the body are bridled by reason. Blessed. This is Rocket Pocket, the recovering addict, trarp TV. Like, share, and subscribe, my peeps. You will get more and more. So, brethren, have a good evening, and God be with you. Lovely Sunday evening. See my rooster out there, so. You know him name? Rugged. Real bad boy rooster, man. You can't go near him. Pick you up, man. Alright, blessings.